Oh, hey everyone, it's Marcus, and welcome to more chatting in my jungle room. I'm heading over to Perth today, where I'm speaking to an incredible Australian music artist. I've just got onto his music recently. I love it. I know you're going to love it, but first of all, let's meet the guy, Justin Davies. Hey, Justin, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, absolute pleasure. And I want to say congratulations on first of all, the new project, which is Justin Davies
Yeah,
and the Tortured Souls, but
yeah,
also on the brand new single that's just come out, which I'm in love with. It's called Unforgettable Days. Before we
yeah.
get onto the song, tell us about the new project. Where did this band's come about from?
Yeah, so like it wasn't planned, and that's what feels freaking so lovely about it all, the way it's all the stars have aligned and the universe it's done its thing because they didn't plan on sort of making a record and releasing singles and releasing an album. I had this thing this crappy thing where there was someone that I'd loved like years and years ago who had lost their life, and I just couldn't grab hold of um, uh, I couldn't grab hold of it, and and it would feel like she was close by to the point where trying to grab hold of not being able to hold her and be with her was really tough, and just had this feeling that I wanted to do something about how I felt and sort of try and find some peace with it. Not that I wanted to not have that feeling of her being present, but just wanted to do something that felt like I was giving something to that. So anyhow, wasn't planned. I was in a music store and I saw this freaking beautiful guitar. It was like, it was like, oh. And so I grabbed it and I loved it. I loved the feel of it. And so I thought I'll write a song about how I'm feeling in relation to sort of this grief and longing. Um, and so I wrote that song, but I really wasn't very good at the guitar, and I'm still not very good at the guitar. I really didn't know what I was playing, and I would move my fingers around the fretboard until it got to a place where it felt right. Um, and wrote the song and didn't know what chords I was playing. I had to ask people and I had to Google. So I wrote that one song, and it happened sort of in a really lovely, smooth, flowing, sort of easy way. And then I thought, well, this is lovely. So I wrote another one, and then I wrote another one, and within 6 months I had 10 or 11 songs. So I thought I'll go down to this studio, which is this crazy. People don't. If people knew this studio existed, they would freak out, and everyone would be going there. But this guy Rob Grant down at Poon Studios got all this antique, vintage analog equipment out of the studio of the Beatles and the Stones and Jimi
Wow.
Hendrix. Like he knows the songs that were recorded on this equipment. It's like stepping into another world. So I went down there just to put the songs down for me, just to have for me. And Rob's just this sweet, lovely, wonderful person, and he was like, "Oh man, I think these songs need to be done properly, and I've got some people that we can call in." And he called in a couple of the guys out of the Sleepy Jackson, which are amazing, and a couple of other musicians here in Perth which fantastic as well. And then the album just happened, and we didn't sort of plan how the songs should be or how they should sound, and that's what's lovely. Like my songs are a little bit, I don't know, maybe a bit daggy. And then these guys came in and made them sound really cool. So that was lovely. So that's how the record came about, not planned.
Yeah.
And then I met somebody um, uh, who knows Jimmy Webb, that guy that's won heaps of Grammys for Witchet Alignment, um, and I ended up connecting to Willie Nelson's PR person in the US. So she's now looking after us over there. And then I met up with this fantastic guy called Matt Bartlam in the digital music scene, and then by chance he connected me up with Emily, who's doing my PR, and she's just like this amazing person. So all these things have just unlined and created this moment that was never ever ever expected, you know.
Justin
Yeah.
Davies, when it's meant to be, right?
Yeah, well, it feels that way, you know, like it would be lovely if that's the direction that my life goes on now. Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Now, Rob Grant produced, mixed, and mastered, this Grammy nominated twice, two-time Grammy
Yeah,
nominated guy.
yeah,
Um, behind, Tame Impala, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, amongst others as well. So
yeah,
the heavyweights you've got around this album are incredible. So congratulations.
yeah, yeah,
Hey,
Tara.
let's go back to the early days. Who were you listening to while you were growing up that really
Oh,
got you into the love of music?
yeah. So it's a really great question because a lot of my a lot of the songs and the new songs that I'm writing now for the next record, they've always got this feeling from I sort of feel from when I was growing up, when in the 70s I would lie on the couch as a young kid, and dad would be drinking and having a cigarette, and we'd be listening to Shirley Bassey and Cleo Lane and Roberta Flack, a little bit of that 1970s Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, and Neil Diamond and the Beatles. So that's all the music that I sort of grew up with. Just practically, well, every weekend on a Friday and Saturday night, and yeah, and Dad would be drinking and smoking, and all be dark, and it was lovely. So that's what I listened to when I was sort of younger, and then when I got older, I love the Velvet Underground. I love David Bowie. I love the way he has multiple melodies going on within one song. And you know, for many years now, Nina Simone and Willie Nelson and Chris Christopherson and yeah, Roberta Flack. Yeah, Leonard Cohen, Nick Drake. I love Nick Drake. Yeah, all those guys. You know.
I have got a really weird feeling that you and I may have been separated at birth. You've ticked off my entire list. Well done.
Oh, great.
Nina
That's
Simone,
funny.
Nina Simone is epic for me, definitely.
Uh,
But
man.
as far as collaborating goes, because I mean, obviously, I mean, you've done some really good collaboration with this album, but is
Yeah.
there someone that you would love to collaborate with, anybody?
Oh man. I haven't thought about that. Um, that's a really good, tricky question that I don't have an immediate answer for. Um, who would I really? I don't know. Geez, buddy. Um,
Asking the big questions.
well, you asked me the big questions because it's not like I don't love modern music, right? But I just listen to everything I'm listening to is all really old stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a really trick. Can I think about that during the course of the interview? And that'll
About
be the parting. That'll be the parting. I'm just going to have to think about it while I'm answering questions.
I love it. Okay, we'll get back onto that one as we say goodbye.
Yep.
Hey, so working in the music industry, what do you find one of the most challenging parts of it is in, this day and age?
Okay. So I guess the tricky thing is that there's so much music, and that's a great thing. And there's so many people that need to be heard, both online, and in live venues, that everybody is competing for that space, and that's tricky. So there's just so much. Um, and I guess to a certain degree, where I am here in Perth, when I go to Melbourne, I'm there next week again. There's so many venues, and there's so many opportunities to play over there. In Perth, it's pretty tricky, right? It's not the same. It's not the same music scene over here. There's a few venues, around and about, but not that many. So not that much opportunity to play. And I guess when you play, you want to play to people that you feel are there to listen, rather than there just to drink and there's some music going on in the background that they don't really care about that much. But, whether it's in a live capacity, or whether it's, some sort of digital platform, just being heard, I guess, is tricky because there's so much music, and it's lovely that there's so much music. But jeepers, it's a competitive environment, and you want everybody. I was listening to Spotify this morning, and on Spotify, if you don't listen to a certain amount of the track, then it goes down as a stat that someone's disengaged, and it's almost like I can't bear to stop listening to a song, especially if it's someone like me that's finding their way forward.
Yeah.
And then the next song will start, and it's like, holy crap, I can't cut out on this song. So I have to wait till a song finishes, and then I quickly stop it, because all of those stats seem to count for so much, when your PR people and your digital marketing people are trying to promote you and trying to get you listened to. So yeah, I think it's just a super duper competitive environment, and that's the trickiness of it all,
And like you said, there is just so much noise that goes on in the world,
Yeah.
that getting cut through these days it's harder and harder. But
And
let's not get
especially
doom and gloom.
no, I know, but there's musicians, when they start to get a bit of traction with, lots of big marketing PR firms behind them with a whole lot of money, grabbing the space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's one of the most rewarding parts of the industry for you? Why? What does music mean to you?
Jeepers, I reckon, like, I don't know about the most rewarding part of the industry. I guess the most rewarding part of the industry is just saying how tough it was. The flip side of that is that I guess there's multiple platforms that that showcase music, and maybe, if you're fortunate enough, they can put you in front of an audience that you wouldn't necessarily get to be in front of. So I think that's lovely. The most rewarding thing for me, with music, um, is the opportunity of being able to play in front of somebody and move them, I guess, and have them feel the way that I feel when I'm writing it or when I'm performing it. I think that's the most wonderful thing about music. When I listen to people that I love and it wipes me out, and I'm sort of having, whether they're sad tears or happy tears, or I'm just for a moment just full of this charge of emotion. I just think that's the most incredible, wonderful thing, and I feel really fortunate when I get to experience that when I'm listening to someone else.
Yeah.
And the idea of being able to move somebody, for a moment, in a way, and take them away from whatever it is or wherever they are, and make them feel charged up with some emotion. I mean, far out, that would just be, that's a dream. I just love the thought of that being possible.
Well, that's a good segue into my next question, actually. So, Justin Davies, where do you feel more comfortable? Is it writing the music? Is it recording the music in the studio or performing on stage?
Yeah, I reckon, like, definitely not in the studio. I love the studio, but the studios, it's sort of like you do a take, you stop, you do it again. It's disjointed and quite disconnected. Um, and now and then you sort of, you try really hard to get in the zone, um, of being just right inside the melody and the lyric and the emotion of whatever it is that the song is. That's hard in the studio. Definitely when I'm just quietly with myself writing, I feel I'm at the place. I'm at my truest sort of the best version of and the most peaceful version of me, you know. And then if I'm performing and I feel that the people that are listening are with me, um, and with the song, like that's just the most wonderful thing, you know. That's it's super cool.
Well, there's something very authentic about your music, the tone of the music, the sounds,
Yeah,
just incredible, and it's just beautiful to listen to.
yeah. Thank you.
Unforgettable Days is out. You have mentioned obviously that there's been so much more recording getting done. When do we start to hear more of the music, the full album?
Yeah, yeah. So, man, I would just like the album to be out there now, but the guys that are in control of all of this, they're like, we've got another single coming out, I guess, in about 4 or 5 weeks' time. Um,
Right.
and that's quite different to it. It starts off in a similar way to Unforgettable. It's just vocal and Hammond organ, and quite a melodic start. But it's the most up and on song of the record. So then the band kicks in, and we've got sort of a rock and chugging sort of stonesy guitar thing happening, and a bit of slide, and the Hammonds freaking going nuts. So that'll be the next song. And then I think there's another one or another two singles, and then the whole album will be released. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to just all of the songs being out, you know.
So,
Um,
I hope it's going to come out on vinyl because your kind of music is the music that you need to listen to on vinyl, I think.
yeah, yeah, no, we're doing that at the moment. We just approved the artwork a couple of days ago. It's a double album, and lots of photos of the guys in the studio recording the album, and lyrics, and yeah, I can't wait. That'll be
Oh,
out. I guess that'll be finished in, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks. Yeah,
exciting. I want a signed copy. Hey,
yeah,
now
yeah. You bet.
excitedly, there is there is a UK artist coming over. No, not UK. He's Canadian artist coming over to Australia to do a tour.
Oh, yeah,
You
that's who I collaborate with,
Ah,
mate.
there you go. Ron Sexsmith is doing a
Yeah,
tour, and you are opening for him in Perth. So
yeah.
congratulations. That's
Thanks, buddy. I freaking love him. So he's somebody who I've loved for years and years. And he's someone that makes me feel incredibly moved by, with his music. So that's unreal. So when I heard that he was touring,
yeah.
I reached out. I was saying this to someone yesterday. I reached out to the company that's managing the tour there in Melbourne, and I sent an email. And then I thought, oh man, I'm going to call in case they didn't get the email. Imagine if they didn't get the email. So I called, and I think I talked to the owner of the business. He just had that disposition about him, and he said he would make sure that the person involved would get my email. And then he was like, there's no way Ron's going to have anyone play with him unless he's heard your music, and because our record's not out. So I sent a link to the whole album to him or to his management, and then he listened to the album, and then within a day or two,
Oh,
he emailed back and said, "Yeah, like come and play,"
I love it.
Yeah, how cool is that? Like,
Congratulations.
yeah, I know,
So
madness.
now, when your full album comes out, is there going to be an Australian tour of your work?
Yeah, I guess that would just be the most fantastic thing. So it's funny because we're sort of doing it back the front. Like a lot of bands just play and play and play and then do their album and then keep playing. So what I'm hoping will happen, meditating on it
Yes.
every day. But what I'm hoping will happen is that the album will come out, and people will enough people will like it, and then we'll be able to, you know, play all around the place and have people come and enjoy the music. That'd be a dream, you know. That's what I hope will happen.
Please make sure Adelaide is on the agenda.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Just
Now,
a
you've answered the collaborative question, which
yeah.
is great. So, but I'm not going to let you off the hook. I'm going to have to give you another curveball question.
Okay.
The big ones, you know. Okay, so it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You're drunk. You all end up at a karaoke bar. What is your karaoke go-to song?
So it's interesting because one of the questions that I was asked by someone else was like, if I could have written a song, you know, what song would that have been? And I guess there's a few, but there's one song by Roberta Flack that I really love, which is The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, and I've heard a couple of people sing it, but the way she sings it is amazing. Um, there's that, but there's this other song that is really heavy, and it's a song called If You Go Away, and Shirley Bassey's done it, and Frank Sinatra's done it, and I guess lots of other people have done it. I think if there was a song that I would like to cover one day, that would be it. And if that was on the list of at a karaoke bar, I would sing that, because it's really heavy, right? Because it's like the words are, you know, if you go away, you know, and how terrible all that's going to be. And then it's like, and if you stay, you know, how wonderful life's going to be. But ultimately, it's like, you know, if you go away, and I know you're going to go away, and it's heavy. It's a heavy song.
Justin Davies, when you do the Australian tour, that needs to be the encore.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I reckon so, buddy. I reckon that's what I'll do.
We've
I'll
got
whack
it
that
laid
one in
out
there.
for you now. Life is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Justin
great.
Davies, everyone. The Tortured Souls is the name of the band, the project. The first single is Unforgettable Days. There is way more to come. Please
Yeah.
go on to your streaming devices and listen to Justin Davies and the Tortured
Yeah.
Souls.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best and much success because you deserve it.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
I look forward to seeing you on tour really soon.
Yeah, mate, just message me your address so I can get a record to you. And then when we're in Adelaide, we'll have a drink.
You're a legend.
All
Thanks,
right, take
Justin.
care.
All the best.
See you, buddy. Yeah, thank you.